Alright guys, today I'm doing my review of Man of Steel. I saw it late last night, 10:55, didn't get home till like 2. Yeah, it was a late night. The movie theater was pretty packed, which is good, great to see. So a couple of things. By the way, there are spoilers in my review. If you do not want to hear the spoilers, turn this off, okay, or go to somewhere else. You've been warned. There is spoilers. Now, let's get down to the nitty gritty of Man of Steel. Critics had such a huge, big fuss over this movie. Oh my god. By the way, I'm going to be swearing in my review because I can't take it. The critics on Man of Steel. How could you criticize a movie this good? Okay? So, I will give you a rating out of 10 at the end, but how do you criticize a movie this good? This is this is an awesome movie, okay? Critics don't know shit about this movie. I will tell you this right now. It is bullshit, okay? What I hear from critics' mouths. I loved the movie, okay? Now, let's go get into some of the points from the critics. Oh, okay. First things first. They said too much action. And I'm going to say, what the fuck is wrong with you? Okay? So when I went to watch the movie, I enjoyed the movie. I wanted more action. Okay? Believe it or not, I wanted more over the top action. Because if you ever watch DC Comics, animated universe, Justice League, Superman cartoons, things like that, you will know the action is what you see on that movie. It is awesome, okay? But brought into the big screen, it is super awesome. It's like, how could you criticize? Oh, there's too. This is what the critics say. No, there's too much action. It's hard to keep up with it. Oh my god, hard to keep up with it. What are you, 2? Like, seriously? How could you not understand the 2 people fighting? It's not rocket science, people. So, the too much action. It's too much, too much action. We didn't get any action in the last how many? 5 Superman movies. We got zip. Okay. If you include Nuclear Man in Superman 4, where they were, struggling a bit in the air, and then he just cuts him with his fingernails. If you call that action, okay. But that was not action, okay? So, to me, I found the action great. It was awesome. This is what you see. I actually wanted more of these fight scenes where Feora and Superman were fighting. That was the awesome fight scene. I wanted more of that. And even near the end, when Zod was squaring down with Superman, that was awesome too. So I love those type of fight scenes. There was nothing wrong with the action. It was awesome. Like, I wanted more. And the coolest thing I found in that movie is right when you sit down, you start watching the movie, action. It's like 10 minutes in, sweet. So you're not gonna be like, origin story. You're gonna listen to Jor-El talk for 15 minutes. It's not like that at all. It's like, sit down, you listen for a bit, action, and then you sit down, and then you listen to some more action, more action. It's like it was good. It was awesome paced. So one of the other critics, some other critics were like, oh yeah, its pacing's bad. What are you talking about? The pacing's bad. I actually like the pacing. I don't know about you, but I don't want to sit through like a Superman Returns movie. Oh god, that was bad. Superman. So, what, you want to sit through Superman Returns and just be like, okay, yep. Okay, there's only 3 main scenes in Superman Returns: the plane, the machine gun guy on the roof, and then throwing the island and then getting hit by Lex Luthor. Well, maybe 4, but I lumped that last one into 1. You can't call that action. That was like nothing. Like, seriously, he didn't even punch anything. He just threw the island, and then that was the end of the movie. I'm like, oh god. So, and that movie got higher. Like the reviews were better. Oh my god. Are you seriously kidding me? This movie is awesome. It's great. So now, yeah, they sing the pacing. So how it's told in the movie, it's told through flashbacks. Okay, and it's awesome. It's a great way how they did it. There's like 10-minute sequences of flashbacks where he goes through his childhood. And they're like, and some critics were like, oh, but we wanted to see more of that. Oh God, no. Are you seriously? Who in the world does not know where Superman comes from? Okay? Or who in the world does not know the lore of Superman? Okay? Why do you want more of the lore? It makes no we know who Superman is. We know who he's gonna become. Okay, let's just get on with it. That's the approach that I found that they probably went with, and it's like, well, we'll just do little sequences, just get everybody caught up. And it works for me. I don't want to sit through another 5 hours of, well, not 5 hours, but more like an hour of just origin. Nah, that's just too much. So that was awesome. Okay, and now, they were like, well, we wanted to see more of him as a child saving people. Oh, do you really? Like, you don't want to... Did you not watch the other Supermans? We had enough of that type of stuff. Saving people, saving cats out of trees. I don't really need to see that. Okay, so... next thing, what else? There was... Oh yeah, Lois Lane popping out of nowhere. Well, it's not that bad, because how do you find Superman in this movie? Well, maybe if you were smart, you would follow where the destruction goes, right? And when Superman flies, you can see a nice little vapor trail sort of thing. Yeah, well, just follow where the trail is. It's not rocket science. Just follow where he goes, and you'll probably find him, or follow where the destruction goes, right? One of the scenes where Superman drops Lois Lane off, and then a cop car comes. She could have easily said, "Oh, I just followed that trail over there." She went that way. He went that way. And it kind of makes sense, because after that scene, he goes and fights Zod for a bit. The fights are quick. They're not like super slow. And then by that time, the car is driving on the way there. It makes sense. So some people are like, "Oh, but she pops out of nowhere." Technically, no. It actually is pretty good. You can actually, well, are you trying to tell me you can't follow where Superman's vapor trail goes? To me, it looks pretty simple. Well, he went that way. Well, isn't that where the farm is? Yep. Well, maybe he went to the farm. Well, maybe. It's not like The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises, there was a little bit of a issue there. How does Bruce Wayne get back to Gotham City from that desert thing that he was doing? There wasn't any secret trails. He didn't mention anything, because the whole area wasn't under lockdown. So that's a little bit different, okay, compared to this one. Oh, well, I'll just follow where the destruction goes. That makes sense. So that was to me, that was like, well, it makes sense to me. Next, what else were they criticizing? Oh yeah. Oh, Superman doesn't kill. Well, you know what? Superman does. Did you ever read the comics? Do you ever watch? You have to think about this. You cannot compare this Superman to Christopher Reeve. Don't do that. It makes no sense. Why would you compare Christopher Reeve Superman to this? You do not do that. It makes no sense. I did not like Christopher Reeve's Superman. It was like, seriously, it was not, for that time and age, in the 1970s, 80s, yeah, sure, okay, that was fine. But now this is a reboot. It's called a reboot for a reason, guys. It's not the old Superman. Stop comparing it to, oh, I really like Richard Donner's Superman. It's not the same, okay? So that's that. Next thing is what else? Yeah, so yeah, Superman doesn't kill. Well, he does, and if you read the comics, it is just like that. The action in the comics, all those things, it gets pretty. It's good. This is what you actually see in the comics, is this type of Superman. Okay, and oh yeah, he didn't have enough charisma as Clark Kent. What are you talking about? You want him to be a bumbling fool? Like, I don't want to see him as a bumbling fool. Why would you want to see him as a bumbling fool? Like I said, this is not Christopher Reeve's Superman. Get that through your critics. Oh yeah, he's not the same. Of course it's not. It's called a reboot, guys. What the? So, if I missed some other points that critics had, let me know. But those are the things that a lot of people had issues with. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? So I really enjoyed it. And then they're like, oh yeah, the fight in the space was a little bit it was not over top. It was cool. They're like, well, these people are super beings. You can do all these cool things. And it's awesome. And then the last part where Superman has to, it was like, oh, Superman doesn't kill. Well, he's trying to protect the citizens right over there. Are you trying to tell me, he's trying to, for one person, he's gonna kill that one guy so he can protect those people. That's what he chose. That's why he had to do it. It's very simple, very straightforward. The only thing I wish they did do a little bit more on is the ending. The ending was too short. I wanted more. I really wanted more of the ending. But I guess that saves it up to the sequel. Now, there is one thing I don't want to happen, okay? Because all the critics are saying, oh yeah, there's too much action, please, when you make the sequel, do not lighten up the action. Please, it'll be so boring. So, please do not lighten up the action. I want more cool action, I want more action, okay? So, because, next thing they'll bring in Lex Luthor, and then you'll be like, oh god, he didn't punch anything on this one. And do you really want to watch a movie where he doesn't punch anything or do anything? Oh, here's some kryptonite rocks. Superman's down. Alright, we got him. So, do you really want to go through 2 hours of just that, of Lex Luthor going into kryptonite? I don't. It'll be so boring. Okay, so it'll be like Superman Returns. You don't really want to watch that again. Okay. I didn't think Superman Returns was that bad, but it's just boring. It's just there's not a lot of action, not a lot of things happening. This one, there is action. This is what's supposed to happen. This is if you, like I said, if you read the comics, if you read all those type of things, you will see that type of action, like Justice League, all that stuff. Okay, so it's what it's supposed to be, and this is a great movie. And people that don't realize, you can't compare it to the old one. That's number one. Okay, you don't compare it to what is done. If you never read a comic, you don't really know what Superman is. Okay, what he's about, sort of thing. You get the gist of it, but it's more than that, because when he fights in the comics, it gets brutal. It's supposed to be like this. Okay. Next thing is, remember, this is a reboot. Don't compare it. It's good. Don't, some people think like, oh yeah, it's a little bit too paced, unrushed. I liked it. Time, it's like 10 minutes in, action. 10 minutes in, action. It was good. It was really good. So, and him where Jonathan Kent dies, it's good. It makes sense. He doesn't want to expose his son, so that's the way it is. So some people had some issues with that, but it's just part of the storyline, right? So other than that, like I said, out of my score, I give it a 10 out of 10. And on the sequel, please do not lighten up on the action, because if you lighten up the action, it's going to be boring as hell for Man of Steel 2. And when people are going to do this, people are going to be comparing the first one to the second one. They'll be like, oh, the action was really toned down. you can't do that. Just, keep up with the action, get him a good villain, and I want to see more. Okay, so there's my review. I give it a 10 out of 10. It was a good movie. This is a comic book movie, so you don't expect it to be, glamour type of writing, stuff like that. It's, what do you expect? It's a comic book movie. So it was way better than Iron Man 3, I thought. So anyways, that is my review. And if you have any questions, comments, please post it below.